She was just a peasant girl, but her voices and determination changed the entire history of France. God called her, and she stepped onto the battlefield. This is the story of Joan of Arc, the sacred warrior. Let's now take a look at 10 fascinating facts about her life. Fact 1. Born as a peasant girl. Joan of Arc was born in 1412 in a small village called Domremy in eastern France. Her family was a simple peasant family, and their life revolved mainly around farming. Joan grew up like any other village child, helping with farm work and household chores. But inside her there was something different, a great will, inner strength, and incredible faith. Even in the quiet life of the village, Joan felt a deep connection to God and the saints from a young age. She was not just an ordinary peasant girl, but carried the signs of a leader who would soon change the course of French history. Fact 2. Hearing the voices of God. From the age of 13, Joan began experiencing strange and mystical events. She claimed to hear the voices of God and saints. These voices spoke to her, gave her a mission, and called her to save the people of France. This was a turning point that completely changed Joan's life. She moved beyond being just a peasant girl and set out to fulfill the divine mission she believed she had been given. At that time, this was an incredible and even dangerous step, because women were rarely involved in political or military affairs, and it was often forbidden. Joan's mystical experiences made her believe in herself and also caused fear and mystery among those around her. But she never backed down and continued to listen to God's voice, which became her greatest source of strength. Fact 3. Meeting the King of France. One of Joan of Arc's greatest challenges was meeting Charles VII, the King of France. At that time, France was politically divided, suffering from English occupation and internal wars. As a simple peasant girl, Joan set out on an unbelievable mission: to support the king and inspire unity against the English. To appear before the king, Joan had to face enormous dangers. Alone, unarmed, and without armor, it took extraordinary courage for her to walk through a crowd of noblemen and courtiers to reach him. But Joan impressed the king with her sincerity and confidence. She claimed that God had sent her and that France could only be saved under his leadership. Though Charles VII was initially skeptical of this peasant girl, he was struck by Joan's strength, determination, and conviction. Eventually, he granted her permission to lead the army, a decision that changed the course of history. Joan became the symbol of the French resistance. This meeting marked a turning point not only in Joan's life, but in the entire history of France. It was the moment a simple girl stood beside her king and became a beacon of hope for an entire nation. Fact 4. Legal permission to fight alongside men. In the Middle Ages, it was forbidden for women to wear military clothing or join men in battle. However, Joan of Arc remained faithful to her visions and her mission to free France. She sought and received special permission from the French king to fight. This permission allowed her to wear men's armor and participate in military operations alongside male soldiers. To prepare for battle, Joan cut her hair, both for religious reasons and tactical ones. The short hair helped her blend in with the troops and prevented her hair from getting in the way during combat. This choice helped her be seen not as a girl, but as a powerful and fearless leader. Her actions shocked society, as such behavior from a woman was rare and highly unusual at the time. Joan's decision to wear armor and fight like a man earned her deep respect and lifted the morale of the troops. She put aside her femininity to become a true warrior for France's freedom, a real hero. Fact 5. Victory at the Battle of Orleans. One of the most famous and historic moments in Joan of Arc's life was the Battle of Orleans, which took place in 1429. At the time, the English army had besieged the important city of Orleans in eastern France, and the city's fall posed a serious threat to the fate of France. The situation for the French was becoming increasingly desperate. With the support of King Charles, Joan went to the battlefield and managed to revive the spirit of the army. Wearing armor and holding a battle flag in her hand, she gave great courage to her forces. Her presence and faith inspired the French soldiers and proved to them that she was a true leader. During the battle, Joan appeared on the front lines several times, giving hope to the soldiers and repeatedly achieving victories against the English. Under her command, the siege of Orléans was broken and the city was taken back from English control. This victory brought great morale to France and became a beacon of hope for the French people. The liberation of Orléans is one of the main reasons Joan of Arc became a symbol of heroism and is considered a turning point in France's subsequent struggle for freedom. Fact 6. Helping the king ascend the throne. One of Joan of Arc's most significant and impactful achievements was helping Charles VII of France ascend to the throne. At that time, France was in political turmoil, and Charles VII's claim to the throne was in doubt, as both the English and internal enemies refused to recognize him as the legitimate king. After her great victory at the Battle of Orléans, Joan came up with a bold new plan to strengthen the king's authority. Instead of going to Rouen, she insisted on taking the king to Reims, the traditional site for the coronation of French kings. This was highly symbolic and politically important. Joan led Charles VII on a long and dangerous journey to Reims. There, the coronation ceremony took place, officially crowning him as king. This event confirmed his legitimacy and showed the world that he was the rightful ruler of France. At this stage, Joan's role went beyond that of a warrior. She became a strategist and an inspiring leader who changed the fate of the king. Thanks to her, the French monarchy regained its strength, and internal conflicts gradually began to subside. Fact 7. Captured by the English, Joan of Arc's fate took a sudden and tragic turn when she was captured by the English, one of the most difficult moments in her life and mission. In May 1430, while fighting near Compiègne in southeastern France, Joan was captured by the Burgundians. The Burgundians sold Joan to the English. For the English, this was a major political and symbolic victory, as Joan had become a powerful symbol of hope for the French people. After capturing her, they took her to the city of Rouen in 1431 and put her on trial. The English accused Joan of witchcraft and crimes against the church. These charges were baseless and politically motivated, but they had devastating consequences for Joan. Her capture and the trial were a significant blow to France and aimed to weaken the symbolic power she held. This event marked the most dramatic and tragic phase of Joan's life, but her bravery and determination remain eternal in history. Fact 8. Joan of Arc's secret letters from prison. After being captured by the English in 1430, Joan of Arc was held in harsh conditions in the city of Rouen. Though her physical freedom was taken away, her spirit and determination remained strong. During her imprisonment, Joan managed to send several secret letters to her allies and members of the French resistance. In these letters, she emphasized that she had never lost hope and that the fight for France's freedom must continue. Joan encouraged her supporters to stay strong and not let their spirits be broken. Her words reflected not only the strength of a warrior, but also the deep conviction of a spiritual leader. The letters she wrote from prison demonstrated to both her friends and her enemies the unwavering power of her will and faith. Even in captivity, Joan did not forget her mission, and her secret messages proved that the battle was not yet over. These letters became a source of inspiration for the French army and people, and they remain a lasting symbol that Joan's spirit stayed free, even behind bars. Fact 9. A heroic execution. Joan of Arc's life ended in both tragedy and heroism. In 1431, she was tried by an English-backed court and accused of witchcraft and crimes against the church. Despite declaring her innocence, she was subjected to a harsh and unjust verdict. At just 19 years old, Joan was sentenced to death by public execution in the city of Rouen. She was tied to a wooden stake, hands and feet bound, and burned alive. It was a moment of immense physical and spiritual suffering. Even in her final moments, Joan did not renounce her faith. She held firmly to her belief in God, and her calm and unwavering courage during execution became the ultimate expression of her bravery and devotion. Though her death was a profound loss for the people of France, Joan's spirit and legacy lived on. Years later, in 1456, the Catholic Church re-examined her trial, acknowledged the injustice of her sentence, and officially declared Joan of Arc innocent. Eventually, she was canonized as a saint. Fact 10. France after Joan of Arc's death. After Joan of Arc was executed in 1431, France was still plagued by English occupation and internal strife. However, her heroism and inspirational actions left a lasting mark on the hearts of the French people. Her death sparked sorrow and outrage, and many began to realize she had been unjustly condemned. In the following years, the French monarchy slowly regained its strength. Fueled by the inspiration of Joan's legacy, French forces fought with renewed determination against the English. By 1453, the Hundred Years' War came to an end, and France was completely freed from English occupation. Joan of Arc's story shows us that, even in the darkest of times, courage and faith can reshape destiny. Her life teaches us the importance of standing firm and following what we believe is right, no matter the cost. To this day, Joan of Arc remains a symbol of freedom, strength, and female leadership, inspiring millions around the world. Her name shines like an eternal light in the pages of history. If you want to hear more inspiring and fascinating stories from history, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications.